going on, everybody? Naughty Present here with another ranking tier list video. With the video game industry going in the direction of making lots of remastered and remake games, I figured I would make a tier list of the games I think deserve to be remade or remastered into the new generation of consoles. Obviously, a remake is just straight up from the ground up remaking the game, kind of like what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake is a good example of what I'm talking about. And a remaster is obviously where they just update the graphics and bring the game to life to the new consoles. So without further ado, let's just get into the video and check out this list. Number 6.
Join us in our quest. Become our champion. Face the power of Mordor and help to turn the tide.
Lord of the Rings: The Third Age was a turn-based RPG that was released on the original Xbox, the Nintendo GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and the Game Boy Advance. I've played many Lord of the Rings games over the years, and I would actually say that this one is definitely my favorite. I'm a huge fan of turn-based RPGs, and that is exactly what this is, as a turn-based RPG Lord of the Rings game. In this game, you play as the B team following the Fellowship of the Ring. As Frodo goes off on his adventures to take care of the ring and defeat Sauron, you are the team following him and cleaning up basically after their mess and helping them out any way you possibly can. You don't really get to interact much with the Fellowship of the Ring, but you definitely have your own unique adventure. I think if they remastered this game and brought it to the new console, updating the graphics, that this game would be bringing light to an old game that has been long forgotten, and maybe new players might actually get into this game. This being stuck on the GameCube and PlayStation 2, that it is very hard to find this game without having to either emulate it or spend lots and lots of money to get old versions of this game. If they remastered it and brought it to the new consoles, it might bring in a new fan base of Lord of the Rings as well, especially with the new Amazon series coming out very soon. Number 5. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, Pokemon is always getting remade and remastered, and there's a very, very good chance that Pokemon Black and White will get remade at some point. But the way I want Pokemon Black and White to be remade is in the style of Sword and Shield. Now, what I mean by that is I want them to, instead of doing what they did with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, making a truly faithful remake, I want them to straight up from the ground up make it into the new 3D model style Pokemon game. And I also want Black and White and Black and White 2 to be combined into one giant Pokemon game. Obviously, they would have to integrate both stories. If they don't do that, they could split it up between the two games, but it would make more sense to either do like a dual pack or a combination, because unlike most of the other games, this one was split into two different separate game series, Black and White and Black and White 2. Obviously, Pokemon is a very well-known and beloved series. I think remaking the game like this, instead of doing it with the bubbly style, chibi style that they did with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, would please a lot more people and a lot more fans, and it would bring more people back to Generation 5 to relive their adventures as a Pokemon trainer. Number 4. Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door was a game released in 2004 for the Nintendo GameCube. It's a predecessor to its original Paper Mario game set on the Nintendo 64. The Paper Mario Thousand-Year Door game is a Paper Mario game where is a turn-based combat system where you go out and you are searching for the 7 crystals to open up a legendary treasure. You're also having to go rescue Princess Peach, who's been kidnapped by an alien group called the X-Nauts. I think this game getting a remaster is a really, really smart play on Nintendo's part, bringing this game to the Nintendo Switch as a remaster, especially seeing as that the very first Paper Mario game just came out on Nintendo Online for everybody to play. So after they finish that game, they can play the sequel and play it as a whole new game. Obviously, this game has a lot of perks. Being a very long and lengthy game, you have a really good story to get your money's worth. Number 3.
The famous Sly Cooper.
Freeze! They never ever freeze!
And I'm out.
Let's go back to the early 2000s where everybody needed a funny looking, cute animal mascot as your mascot for your new game series. Then we go to Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper is a 4-game series where each game you play as Sly Cooper and friends trying to either get your family secrets or family treasures back from evil villains who have taken over your land or taken over your wealth. Now, they did release a Sly Cooper Master Collection on the PS3, but it only had the first 3 games. Now, what I would love them to do is to take all 4 games and remaster them into a new Sly Cooper collection and bring them into the PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5 and have them where you could play all of them, because currently they're only stuck on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita as master collections. You are not able to play them on the PS4 without having PlayStation Now, which is not great. So if they brought them into the new gen consoles as a remaster with updated graphics and on the new engine of PlayStation 5, it would sell really well, and then they could continue forward and make a Sly Cooper 5. Number 2.
Zelda Returns to Game Boy Color in an adventure too big for just one game. Rated E for everyone, each game sold separately.
Get into it!
Man, did I have a tough time deciding which Zelda game to bring into this list. I was down between The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap and The Legend of Zelda Ages and Seasons, so I decided to go with the Ages and Seasons. The reason being is because I feel like the Minish Cap is more of a cult classic and gets more love and attention than Ages and Seasons does. Minish Cap was brought into the Wii U eShop. Yes, Ages and Seasons was also brought into the 3DS eShop, but I didn't see many people talking about it as much as they talk about how much they love the Minish Cap, so I decided to go with Ages and Seasons. The Legend of Zelda Ages and Seasons was released in the early 2000s on the Game Boy Color. The differences between the two games is that Legend of Zelda Seasons is more action-based, and The Legend of Zelda Ages is more tougher puzzles based. In The Legend of Zelda Seasons, you have to hunt down the bad guys who have kidnapped a dancer named Din, and you play as Link, who is now wielding the Rod of Seasons, who controls the 4 seasons of the world. In The Legend of Zelda Ages, the bad guys have kidnapped a singer named Nehru in order to put the world of Labyrinthia into chaos by controlling the flow of time. You play as Link with the Harp of Ages in order to control the time and stop the bad guys from taking over the land. What I'd like to see with the remake of Legend of Zelda Seasons of Ages is what they kind of like what they did with Link's Awakening and the success that it brought into the Zelda franchise. I would love for them to do a full-on, from the ground up remake like they did with Link's Awakening. I think if they brought in the new aesthetics and new look to that old Game Boy game, it would look really well and play very, very well. They could even sell a 2-piece box set, like a combo pack of both games in order to have both experiences of the game. Before we get to our number 1 pick, we have one honorable mention. The Persona games, the one game series I got into way too late as an adult with Persona 5. Now, with me not playing the 1 through 4 Persona games, I have no opinion on what I want and don't want inside a Persona game, because I have never played them. All I know is I would love for them to do a 1 through 4 remastered collection and put them all into one game for you to play through each game remastered as a lead up to Persona 5, which is one of Atlus's best selling games of all time. So if we got a new generation console game of the remastered collection of Persona games, I think it would do very, very well. Number 1.
Head to the go-go, baby! You want some? We'll come and get it!
My number 1 pick for what deserves a remaster / remake is Beautiful Joe. Now, Beautiful Joe is a Capcom game that has a cult following, in my opinion, that is very underrated and is a very, very fun game. Now, it does have a sequel that the first one came out in 2003, and then the sequel released in 2004. There was also a third game called Beautiful Joe Rumble, released in 2005, and then a following 4th game, but the only 2 games I'm really focusing is the first and the second one. The first Beautiful Joe game is revolved around our hero, Joe. He's just an average Joe guy who loves movies, and one day he goes to the movies and gets sucked into the world of movies called Movieland. He then has to fight a bad guy who kidnapped his girlfriend named Sylvia and has to rescue her by turning into the hero named as Beautiful Joe. In Beautiful Joe 2, you have to now fight an alien invasion, but the difference between this game and the second game is now you are able to play as your girlfriend Sylvia, so you can play as Joe or Sylvia to fight the alien invasion. What I would love about these 2 games getting remastered and ported into the Nintendo Switch or any of the new consoles is that if they brought it to the new consoles, that they would be bringing new life to an old series that kind of died out. And if they have no legal problems, it would be awesome to see this series getting popular again enough to bring a new Beautiful Joe series, a new Beautiful Joe game into the series. I would love to be able people to play the great platforming game that is Beautiful Joe that I played when I was a little kid. Well, there you have it, folks. The top 6, technically top 7 games that I think deserve a remaster or a remake. All 7 of these games are super, super fun, and I do think that they all deserve a remaster or a remake. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you guys agree or disagree with any of the choices that I've made. And make sure while you're there to hit the subscribe button. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out and checking the video. And like I said, like and subscribe and comment everything you agree or disagree about the video. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for coming out.